Hello nerds! Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your Week in Nerdom Supplemental Edition for the week of March 12th, 2018. And this week's going to be a quick one, but for those of you that don't know, if you're new to the channel or whatever, on the Supplemental Edition we do something a little different. This is basically the catch-all for everything. If there's something that's super exciting that can't wait for next week's video, it goes in here. If say I can't get enough news coverage for another one of the other topics, it'll go in here. If just something that doesn't fit in one of the other topics I want to cover goes in here. So all of that being said, let's jump into the intro real quick.
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Before we get into the supplemental video, I'm going to remind you guys we do still have that contest going to win this shirt right here. Thank you again to the guys over at punishshirt.com for reaching out to me and doing this team up. This shirt right here, we're giving away 2 of them. The contest rules and how to enter are all in the description. It's really simple. Just subscribe and comment is all you need to do. And you can do it in 4 different ways. So check the description for the rules and the ways to enter. And go check out the guys over at punishshirt.com. If you do not win the contest, this shirt is available for about $18, $20, somewhere in that neighborhood, over on their website. So check it out, and let's jump into the video real quick. So this week, there wasn't a whole lot of extra stuff. I mean, there's always new stuff over on the YouTube channels we watch, like Frog Leap Studios and so on and so forth. Nothing really spectacular this week. On any of the regular channels. Still waiting on another new video from the Nerd Writer, all that stuff. So no YouTube stuff to talk about. Kevin Smith is back to doing his podcast, so that's cool, but that's, you know, kind of not super newsworthy since he's well, and thank God he's well. I'm not trying to diminish the fact that Kevin Smith is alive. This is coming out all wrong. We're just going to kick on over. The first bit of actual news that we're going to talk about is Nathan Fillion. We talked about him a little bit in the TV episode because his character is coming back in Santa Clarita Diet in Season 2. Very interestingly, very, very hilariously. But he's been tweeting. If you follow him on his social media, specifically on his Instagram, he has been posting pictures, not tweeting. Although he might be tweeting it, I just don't follow him on Twitter. So if he is, definitely let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. But he's been posting pictures on his Instagram with him in the Mal costume, and then hashtagging American Housewife is the show that he's doing currently. So very interesting. He's been like the 4 or 5 posts of him talking about Firefly, talking about Serenity in the Mal costume with a very interesting space set behind him. Yeah, it's not happening. The Serenity cast get together, a reunion show, another movie, something, not gonna happen. Sadly, my guess though is this is for like a dream sequence in his current show, again, American Housewife. But it's fun to dream, right? Everybody wants Firefly to come back, and now that Fox has sold off, well, is in the process of selling off all of their properties, except for their news properties, there is the ever so slight possibility that we will get a return of Firefly somehow. Joss Whedon, though, has kind of said it's not going to happen. The rest of the cast has moved on to bigger things, and so on and so forth. Although I don't know, I don't know if you could really call Morena Baccarin's gig in Gotham bigger or better. But she is in the Deadpool movies, so there's that. But yeah, so that's the end of that. Next on the list, and this is the last bit for the supplemental, and it's a somber one, and I'm sorry to go out on a sad note for the week, but you only have a couple days before we're gearing up for the next one. So the last bit is the death of Stephen Hawking. The science world, the nerd world in general, is a lot poorer because of the loss of Stephen Hawking. It was just 2 days ago, I believe. He died on the 14th of March. And today is, the 16th. So he died, he passed on the 14th in the early morning. He led, by all intents and purposes, he led a very full life, and he lived so much longer, over 50 years longer than they told him he was going to live. He was diagnosed in 1963, I believe. When he was 21 years old, he was diagnosed with ALS. They said he only had 2 years left. They were giving him until he was 23 before he was going to be gone. And he was 75, 76, somewhere in that neighborhood. 76, I believe, when he passed. So, moment of silence for the passing of Stephen Hawking. And that, guys, thank you for having that moment with me. That it needs to be known that he was such a great contributor to the nerd culture. Just being smart is not as stigmatized, partially because of him. Though our society as a whole kind of stigmatizes intelligence still. That's a discussion for another video. One last thing I did want to hit before we go. There are 2 nerd conventions next month here in Colorado. I have press credentials to both Dink Denver, which is the Denver independent. I don't remember exactly what the Dink means, but I know it's not exactly DINK. It's something that sounds like it, but anyway. So Dink Denver, I have press credentials for that. So we're going to be doing an adventure in photography for the weekend of April 14th and 15th, which is the 2 days for the convention, is Dink Denver. Then the following weekend is Starfest, which I also have press credentials for. So we're going to be doing 2 adventures in photography, and I'm going to be a lot better about getting the edits up and done quickly, because I just need to be better about all of that stuff in general, right? So Dink is the 14th and the 15th. A week later, we have Starfest, the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd. So I have one adventure in photography is going to last me 2 days. I have another adventure in photography is going to last me 3 days. And I need input from you guys, all of you guys who watch this show. What kind of shots do you want to see from a nerd convention? These are both, Dink is a little less in the vein of cosplay, so that's going to be more, the building that the convention is in is really beautiful, so I'm going to be going for some architecture shots, and some artist shots, and just kind of crowd shots is kind of what I have on my plate. What else do you guys want to see from Dink Denver? What do you want to see from Starfest? Starfest is like a smaller version of Comic-Con. It's technically an amalgamation of a bunch of different conventions all in one. So there's Game Fest, Comic Fest, Horror Fest. There's a Klingon festival, I believe, that's part of it. Might just be that it's because it's Star Trek oriented at its core that Klingons are such a thing, because they always have Klingon stuff there. So what kind of shots do you guys want to see from that convention as well? Again, this one is like Comic-Con, so there is going to be plenty of cosplay. So I'm going to be looking for some cosplay shots. I'm going to be looking for some really interesting vendor shots, because they have very unique vendors at Starfest. And they also have an art show at Starfest, so I'm going to see if I can't get some interesting shots of some of the sculptures and such. So that's on my list for it. Again, I pass it off to you guys. What do you want to see coming out of both of these conventions, Dink Denver and Starfest Denver? And that's where we're ending the video. I know it was short, kind of on purpose, because I need the feedback. So give me the feedback. kind of mull over the passing of Stephen Hawking, and don't get your hopes up too high for a Firefly reunion. And thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. What did I miss in any of the videos for this week? What should we talk about next week? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to go deeper into the conversation, generallynerdy.net is the website. Patreon.com/generallynerdy is the Patreon. And if you like the episode, click the like button. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button. I do post almost every day. So yeah, definitely check it out. If you are falling behind in your nerd news, click or tap that box to the left of my face to catch up with all of the nerd news. Everything going on in the nerddom is covered right here on Generally Nerdy. And before you go, do that. Please, always remember, if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.